Hello, everyone, and welcome to Moonride, where we're channeling the man in the moon. So, after my last video, I decided I really need to make another one. The president's extremely disturbing remarks on race. If you're wondering, wow, is the president really going to start a race war? I'm not speaking as a psychic here or a channeler. He really is doing that. That really is happening. You are not crazy. He has not denounced the shooting of several peaceful protesters. This is just as bad as you think it is. And it does inspire us all to work really hard to get rid of this guy, which is why I'm making this video today. I am going to try to get some honest answers on these questions about the shootings in Kenosha and see what lies in the future for us here, because I think it is extremely serious. So, first question, Spirit, is how can people be safe in Kenosha? Just Kenosha specifically. Yeah, Spirit's kind of giving me a smaller box. Okay, we're going to go to Kenosha first and see what's going on there. Angry words, people are arguing. But I do see, people on the left and the right, and they're arguing. Actually, what's interesting about this is that I do see the police finally stepping in between the two of them. And so it seems like rather than the police being on the side of the Trump supporters, they are kind of turning away from that. It feels like the shooting did change their minds about supporting these right-wing militias. Okay. And it does seem confrontational by the police. That is, they're kind of together with the protesters, whereas the 3%ers are being talked to, by like chief of police type person. They don't seem very supportive of these 3%ers. And I know there are various patriot prayer types groups. One thing that I have to say is it feels like now the police have started to change their minds. Now, understand, you guys, when it's really not fair to say the police, just like it's not fair to say, women or the anything. Not all police people are the same. The police are made of hundreds and hundreds of people. All of them may have, really strong left-leaning positions, but they're working with a group of people that doesn't necessarily, it could be immensely complicated. Whatever we do here, let's not stereotype the police. We can say, we want the police to be treated just like anybody else. If they kill people, they need to we need justice. But understand that it is also important. There are plenty of good people in the police force, maybe even people in the middle, maybe even people on the right, who do appear to be changing their minds. And I know I don't want anybody to think like, hey, your job is to, suck up to the cops or something. But look, this is really, really important. We have to, on the left, have to show peace. We have to be really strong and assertive. We have to not be reactive, because that is going to convince the center. That is going to convince people. They're going to see how we all act. I also know that there's fakes, there's plants in there. The right is sticking, fake people into the left groups to start fires and break stuff. As much as can be done, we got to manage those guys. But look, here's the positive. The police are changing their minds. They are coming to their senses in a sense of, even they believe that shooting a person is wrong, right? You might not think that from watching a lot of videos, but, understand that that is a percentage of the police. It's not all of them. It's not the body of the police. Police people often come from hierarchical families where dad is like a king and he has all the power, right? And they're mimicking that when they're going out to they're mimicking dad's power. I'm the authoritarian and I tell you what to do. That's my job as a police person. However, unnoticed that, now the children on the right haven't followed the rules. They broke the rules, and they've caused more problems for that police department. They've made them look bad. They've made them look fascist. They've made them, ashamed of their role in this. Again, that might not be everybody, but don't forget that even, a body like the police that is largely conservative, they can change their minds. And they may not even be 50% conservative. We don't really know. We just know how some leaders are acting. So you must go to these events without the attitude that all the police people are bad. You must, because otherwise you're being prejudiced yourself. You gotta go in there with the idea that I can change some of these minds. Some of them you will not change. Some of them will be silent. They may change their minds, you don't know. But this has to be the way that we approach it, because the cameras are rolling. Okay, anything else about Kenosha and staying safe? Okay. Well, I just get the police doing their duty. When I say that, remember that part of their duty is to protect everybody, not just some people. And part of their duty, obviously, is, not to kill people. We would think that that would be obvious. But I understand that, there are a lot of police people who are embarrassed that black people are getting shot in the streets, right? They are ashamed of it. Some of them are African American. So it's not a simple thing. If you can convince a police force, that goes a long way into defeating this horrible monster that has taken over our country. Anything else about Kenosha? Yeah, I am reminded of images of Martin Luther King and, even Christ. What would they do? What would Martin Luther King do if he were leading this movement? He would be peaceful. He would show people how peaceful he is. And that would change it just like it did in the 60s. It did change people's minds, right? Okay, remember that man gave up his life to prove a point. Okay, and those rules, those ideas still exist today. They are, passive resistance still works. I know that it's a lot to ask, but it's becoming necessary to do this right now. Okay, and I understand that there is no benefit in arguing with these right-wingers. They're not going to change their mind. They're just making you angry. So what would be just, to respond to them with peace or something like that? Remember, it's not about that person. It's about the camera filming you with that person, right? So all you can do really is just respond with assertive peace. In Kenosha, are we going to expect? Is there going to be more? There are going to be more guns. I actually do see things coming close. I do see guns pointed at the protesters, but I do see the police stopping them. I think that right now the police are making some efforts to stop those guys from, the right wing, from acting out. I don't think the police are happy that Trump went there. It's just causing them more problems and making them, more work. So, how important is that the police force is seeing Trump in action and they are starting to disagree with him? And also, it's fair to say that, anybody's going to react negatively to violence. I don't think this has anything to do with Antifa or Black Lives Matter or the people who are protesting at all. But people will focus on burned out buildings. That's just the nature of humanity. Now, we don't know who did those things, but understand that is what happens. I'm kind of hoping when the right-winger gets caught doing this, they have been before. But that remains to be seen. Let's see. Are any right-wingers going to be caught? I do get that one of the people who's setting the fires is a crazy, really crazy right winger dude. He is really nuts. I'm not sure if he's caught eventually, but it feels like he is. So are the police going to catch this person? I'm getting a yeah, but it's going to be a chase. It's going to take a while. It won't happen right away. Yeah, I'm not even sure it will happen before the election. All right, so, all right, let's go to is this going to benefit Trump? That's the real question. I mean, he really is trying for the race war to because he thinks that Americans will want a strong man to stop violence. Hmm. Well, what I get here is Trump again. It's like the protesters are on one side, the Trump supporters are on another. Trump's walking down the middle, right? He's walking almost like a row between the two of them, a space, and the 3%ers grab him and bring him onto their team, right? So, what does that mean? To me, it seems like they are starting to associate themselves directly. That the people are starting to think about Trump as aligning with these crazy right winger people. And that isn't going to be good in the long run. There might be a short bounce. Some conservatives who are already in his camp might like it, but it's not going to help with what I see are, essentially the deciders right now that are one, suburban women voters or just women voters in general and African Americans, they're going to show up and vote. That's what I feel like. And I really want to encourage both of those parties to do so. But yeah, I mean, look, this is good in a way. In a way, it's led to an African American movement that has to do with freedom. And it also has to do with all those supporters who are supporting African American movement towards freedom, right? So a collective has been built, just like under Martin Luther King, where something is shifting. People are changing. People are saying, I'm not just going to sit on my couch. I'm going to go take some action. And that's really, really, really important. So do not underestimate that there are some really good things going on, and fewer and fewer people are being passive. That's what I get. It's like the eyes are opening up of these, typical soccer mom going to work, who's not really, doesn't really have that much time. Maybe she has a conservative husband, and maybe she's in a traditional background. The woman that I see, driving the station wagon, her eyes are opening. Like, whoa, I've got to, I care about my children. I should care about everybody's kids. This kind of realization that maybe the man in power, whether that be the husband or somebody else, is wrong. Maybe I should take my own power and do it in a quieter way. It feels like they're not arguing with their husband. They're just going to vote against him. Right? And again, I want you to know this is a stereotype. This is just your symbolic person. It's not a real person. Okay. All right. So my last question is, will race wars, work for Trump at all? I kind of already answered that, but I really want to know. Will race wars work? It's like a wave that builds, and we're all disturbed yet because it's like underground, right? Like a tidal wave. You don't know how much power there is there, but it's like going through and going through and going through, and then suddenly, it's funny too because it's almost like the United States of America is the place where the wave builds, building from the west, and then it starts cresting at Ohio. That's when it seems to be a blue wave, obviously, yeah. It seems to be really cresting One thing, I just feel like this is really not going to benefit Trump. He thinks that it will, because he assumes that everybody's a sadist like him, and they enjoy harming others, but and that they want a race war because they're a racist. But actually, the good news is most people aren't. Yeah, it's really going to sweep him up. I don't know at which point. I don't know whether it's like three-quarters of the way to the election or something, but there's going to be some absolute moment where the wave hits. It's going to surprise him and it's going to carry him away. It's going to flood I see the same wave flooding the Senate. Like Mitch McConnell's swimming as the tidal wave hits the Senate, and he's barely able to hang on to something and survive. I think he makes it, but he is terrified, right? I think he'll survive the election, but he is really chastened and like afraid. Not just like, oh, I lost, or I lost the Senate, but actually afraid. He is looking very afraid. I think he is fearful of what will happen once he loses, or once Trump loses. He'll probably still be in office according to the numbers we see, unfortunately. But Susan Collins isn't making it. She's fallen under the wave. Who else? There are people like pretty conservative people, and they're just barely able to make it. Like the water gets to their hairline, and they're like just barely making it. So, here's another positive. What strategy or platform do the Republican Party has moving forward? If we are focusing all on Trump, but Trump is powerless without a Senate that is Republican. I should say he's largely powerless. So what are those guys going to do? Even if Trump won, if the Senate loses, what are they going to do? And I don't think Trump is going to win. And let's just ask again. Is Trump going to win? I see him losing power, right? If you're a current watcher, if you watched my videos before, I get a lot of pyramids these days. I see a completed pyramid, but it's like the power is decreasing. The power is going down and down and down and down. And to the point of the towers, this pyramid sort of turning red and it's sort of melting destruction. So here's a great image for you. A moon rises above that building, that pyramid. So I understand right now we are rising above, right? That is what's happening to us as a collective people. We are engaging, but at the same time rising above the fray of the arguments that are being presented by the Trumps of the world, right? On that note, thanks so much for watching.